We're live. Casual beginnings. That's what Bobby says. Wish the camera could pan. If you guys could if you could look over and just see Bobby sitting with his headphones. No, he's just out of reach. Hey, there's his face. He's producing the live stream. Before we get started, I want to talk about Frontline Med Kits. My friend David Miller, that's these guys right here. This show is sponsored by Frontline Medical Defense.com. You can go buy med kits. There's a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today can be purchased through them. You can also use coupon code DIRE, not sponsored by Bang. You can use coupon code DIRE10 for 10% off of all the medical equipment there. So super cool of them to sponsor the show. You've seen them on the show. You know them. You love them. FrontlineMedicalKits.com. Oh, there goes my mic. We're going to get this together, guys. For you. Hang on. My mic is falling apart.
That sounds amazing, too.
My mic just fell apart.
We have plenty of technical difficulties, but it's all fun.
It's always fun. Welcome back to the most technically difficult live stream show on YouTube.
It looks good, though.
It looks good. So today we're actually talking about active shooter response, and we're going to actually be doing a whole series. We're taking our entire studio through Stop the Bleed with David Miller from Frontline Medical Defense. He's a Stop the Bleed certified instructor, and we're kind of developing this whole series on where to go, what to do, how to communicate with 911, and kind of encouraging people to train themselves so that you can respond in that type of situation appropriately. I can't tell you how many calls I've run where I've sat there and looked at the situation and been like, if one person on scene had YouTube level EMT experience, how many lives they could have saved. Literally just by owning a $30 tourniquet and knowing how to put it on. Not even in like a crazy gunfight situation, car wrecks. I've seen limbs come off in car wrecks and the person just standing there screaming, crying, holding their loved one, and they're dead because they bled out because their arm was off or severely mangled and had an arterial bleed. And all they had to do was be like, oh, got my med kit, put it on, good to go. Probably be alive. And it doesn't take much to buy a med kit, and it doesn't take much to watch videos like this and learn how to use it. This one I kind of built around my experience of responding to several active shooters and what I wish a civilian on scene would have had. Like if I showed up and adrenaline's pumping and it's go time and it's active shooter and we've got multiple bodies on the ground shot, if one person, civilian, came up and was like, hey, I have this kit, how can I help? I'd be like, good, jam up. So I built the kit that I wish they had. And you know, it's dynamic. So things are always changing. I'll always be adding something. It seems like every morning I wake up with a new idea of like, ooh, I need to make sure I have that in my kit. So I'm going to address some things that I'm probably still going to keep adding to it. But this is a kit that's being built, as all your gear should be. So starting off with the bag, I had it in the Haley Strategic Flat Pack. In my opinion, this is one of the better small lightweight packs on the market. I know Javelin Concepts also makes a really good one. I know Victos makes a really good one. This is the one I chose, and I went into it with the mind of if I'm responding as a citizen to an active shooter, and specifically with the Uvalde, Texas. How do you pronounce that, Bobby? Uvalde?
Well, I've heard Uvalde, but that's
Uvalde?
not right.
No, that's all right. For Uvalde, we'll say Uvalde shooting. There were citizens that were able to grab guns and go inside. The reason I chose the Haley Strategic Flat Pack is I'm typically, because of Dire Armory and what I do, I usually have carbines in my car. I'm traveling to and from ranges. I usually have a carbine in my car. And the Haley Strategic Flat Pack is built, and plate carriers. I've got plate carriers everywhere. I have one in my trunk at all times. The Haley Strategic Flat Pack has really small straps. This is actually meant to go around your plate carrier as a backpack or threaded into the back of your plate carrier. So it's really good, and the straps are really thin so that you can mount your carbine to your shoulder, because if you have a backpack with really thick straps, you've got your plate carrier strap and then you've got the other strap over it. It gets really thick and you don't really get a good purchase point there on your shoulder with your stock of your carbine. So that's kind of what the Haley Strategic Flat Pack is designed to do, ultra thin straps, and it's just a lightweight thing. So this is it, the pack fully collapsed, and it's got these zippers that come undone all around, and the pack actually expands out. So this is the 2.0, it's the smaller version of the Plus, and this is the Plus basically fully expanded. So you can see the difference here. It's really awesome, and the whole point that they lay flat is if you're sitting in a car or whatever, you can get your back against a wall, make yourself more minimalist. So that's kind of why I chose this. I started off in this, and all the stuff in here actually fits in here, but it was really kind of a tight squeeze, and I wanted a little bit more real estate space. So I've got this bigger pack, and it's awesome. And so this is going to be my little lightweight assault pack soon. But let's get into the pack and why I chose what I chose. First off, plenty of identifying marks that this is a med kit. If this was sitting in my car and I'm the one injured laying out there and I yelled to some random person like BJ here, and I said, hey, grab my med kit, and they saw this sitting in the front seat, it's got medical crosses all over it, it looks kind of tactical-ish, they're gonna assume that this is the med kit. Might not even be a bad idea to replace like the Dire Armory patch or something with a strictly medical patch or something like that. Something that screams medical. So I'm going to start with the front pouch. Right now I've got a pistol in here. I don't always have this pistol in here. Sometimes I'm carrying this, sometimes I'm carrying my Glock. If I've got, time to have a gun or something like that, or a little backup pistol, not a bad idea if you're responding to an active shooter situation. I will say, if you are responding to an active shooter situation, the response is probably going to either be before or after. You're either going to be focusing on eliminating the threat or dealing with the aftermath. It's very rare, like the Texas school shooting, where you might have to go in, deal with a threat, and then be ready to deal with patients immediately afterwards. Typically, it's already going to be happening, or you're going to be dealing with medical afterwards. So I wouldn't say like, hey, carry a backup pistol in your med kit. I've got it in there, whatever. Take that for whatever you want. So let's start on the outside pouch. And two, comment below if you see something, you're an EMT, first responder, or you're just a YouTube warrior that has a lot of head information about the stuff, and you may have seen some videos that I haven't seen, or have some experiences that I don't have. Like, say, hey, what about this? What about that? Let's open up some discussion there in the comments. So first thing, a yucky bag. This is good for, like, I could put somebody's hand or foot or fingers or toes or something in here. Basically a biohazard bag. They actually make legitimate biohazard bags. They're just like red trash bags basically that say biohazard. That's probably going to be a little bit better than something like this. I do like this because it will fully keep all the moisture in, and it zips, and there's a lot of room in here. Also too, like, we had an emergency one time at the cabin. My father-in-law axed his foot. He was on blood thinners. We couldn't get the bleeding to stop. It was actually really bad. He actually started kind of going into compensated shock. He was sweating a little bit, started getting pale. He kept his shoes. So they put his shoes in a biohazard bag. So things like that too. You can put somebody's shoes in here, clothing, whatever you need. I've got a big trauma pad in here, trauma dressing in here. It's super old. The paper's all discolored, but the packaging is still good, so it works. And a big old chest seal. This is a big vent. It's got one vented, one non-vented seal. If you've ever used chest seals or you work on an ambulance, you know. If you know, you know. These things are pretty much invaluable when it comes to shooting, working a shooting. That's what I keep in the front. And I do like this is just like one of those things that you put on your back, like a little canvas bag. I like the fact that I could tie this to the stretcher or something, or even to the patient themselves. If they had a hand or something come off and I put it in here, I could like tie this to their other arm or to their belt loop or something and make sure it stays with that patient. Because in a triage situation, you're not going to sit there and stay with the same patient. I may not get the chance to tell the EMTs or paramedics or whoever's responding, if I'm just responding as an everyday street guy, I may be working on somebody else, and if I'm holding direct pressure and I can't let go or do something, I can easily just do that. I can even mark on the bag with a Sharpie, assuming that it's not like covered in blood or something. Outside of the bag, so webbing, you guys already know how I feel about webbing. We did a whole video on this. I even teased the active shooter bag in that video. That was the one we did with Brian. He's got COVID today, that's why he's not here. He's supposed to be here. So hopefully Brian feels better. But me and Brian did a whole video on rescue drags, why we carry webbing. We went through the Spiritus video where they talk about the importance of carrying tubular webbing. In an active shooter kit, could be invaluable. It could be that you find somebody in the hallway and you need to drag them into a classroom or something, or you have a decent distance to go and you do need to keep like an arm free or something like that. This could become invaluable. So carabiner webbing out here, it stays tucked in. I can unzip this a little bit or even just pull it straight out and not even have to really worry about unzipping the pack and all that. Also on the outside of my pack, I carry a G-Shock watch. My phone may have been damaged. I may have blood all over my hands. I don't want to be reaching into my pockets and grabbing my phone. G-Shocks are pretty much indestructible. I've got a G-Shock watch just sitting here. And if you know anything about tourniquet placement, which we're getting into the stop the bleed stuff, and as we dive more into tourniquet placements, Brian actually did a good video on it. You need a Sharpie and you need to write down the time. This makes sure that I have the time written like in front of me. If I've got my pack open and I'm working on somebody and I place a tourniquet, I can easily just look down, see the time, write the time. So pack's already open. We've got a front panel and this panel. So I'm going to start with the front panel. So I have a knife in here. I'm not really sure why. I don't see, it's kind of more of a combat knife. This is the Dauntless Manufacturing Persian. Let me get rid of this. I don't really see why I would need a knife other than just utility reasons. I'm not going to cut anybody's clothes off with this or anything like that. It's kind of dangerous. It's very pointy and sharp, and I don't want to injure the patient anymore. So I don't know. If I for some reason needed to pry something, or I don't know. I just have it in there. I wouldn't say like, hey, make sure you have a good combat knife in your med kit. It doesn't really matter to me. Trauma shears are going to be more important. This is the Audi Gear trauma shear sleeve and trauma shears. You can go get these at audigear.com. It's got Velcro on the back. And it's nice, quick access, or I can rip the Velcro off and hand it to somebody if I need to. Make sure you have a good set of trauma shears. Leatherman makes an incredible one. I think they're called the Raptor. The Leatherman Raptor, I think. But those things are like, they fold up. They've got a nice Kydex case, real small, but they are like $80, I think. These you can buy all day for pretty cheap, and I've cut like thick leather motorcycle jackets off of people with this stuff. I've got two quick, easy access tourniquets here, and they're already set up. I think we may have talked about tourniquet setup before. If we haven't, I'll have to go back and check. As we get more into tourniquet specific stuff, we'll talk about different ways to stage your tourniquets. Make sure your tourniquets are staged. These are staged, ready to go. So all I got to do is pull up, and they're pretty much ready to go. And then I can work on myself or hand this off to somebody. But having plenty of tourniquets in an active shooting situation, really what you're worried about, the biggest things you're worried about, tourniquets, wound packing gauze, chest seals, pressure bandages. I mean, if you just had a kit of just tourniquets, pressure seals and all that stuff and wound packing gauze, you'd be pretty good, to go. So I keep 2 tourniquets in there. Also, notice what I have here next to the tourniquets, another Sharpie. Like, have Sharpies. I mean, really, how much does a Sharpie cost? Like, a pack of Sharpies is like $2. Put a whole pack of Sharpies in there. I have like these little 511 Velcro strips. I don't even know. They came with something. I can't remember. I actually cut it down to size, and they actually make a nice little Sharpie sleeve. I've found out. So I have this, and it's just there, and I can pull the Sharpie out or whatever I need to do. So these are the windowed packing cubes from Audi Gear. They have Velcro on the back. They're perfect for this. I like the fact that I can pull things off and hand it to people. I'm a firefighter. I have a lot of firefighter friends, paramedics, EMTs, military vet guys that know trauma. If I'm around any of my friends and something goes down, I can with full confidence hand them something and be like, hey, you take care of that guy. I'll go take care of this guy. So what I keep in these is, this is really for me because I'm actually certified to do this. A lot of you guys are not certified to do this. That is okay. It's not really super necessary. One thing, it's an IV kit. So I have everything I need to start an IV. I know I've worked for multiple departments in my career in my surrounding area. I know that they're basically using all the same equipment. So I know if I get an IV started, I've got a flush in here. I've got different gauge needles and gloves. I've got extra gloves in here, antiseptic wipes, these are like little ports that the actual IV bags plug into. I'm not gonna be running fluids or anything. That gets a little sketchy legally speaking. If you start doing invasive procedures on people, I definitely wouldn't recommend it. And I am going to be using that with extreme caution. I was thinking more for a loved one, or if I go down and I have a friend that knows how to do IVs, they could have everything. I can't say that I would run around putting IVs on people in the street. Just for legal reasons. One thing to note is as you bleed out, your veins just get flatter and flatter. It gets harder and harder to get an IV on somebody that's bleeding out because you don't have blood filling the veins, so they start getting lower and lower and they move, and it can be a pain to get an IV in them. So if it was like maybe one victim and I could tell that like, man, this is gonna be tough to get an IV, I'm confident in my skills, I know I could do it. It's just a risk I'm gonna have to assess in the situation, but I have it in there just in case. And I also have 14 gauge needles in there, which can be used as a backup decompression needle if I need to. This is like a kind of a, I guess, sanitation PPE pouch that I have for myself. I've got things like, kind of random things. I got a couple face masks in here. Something like the Boston Marathon bombing or something like that. There's dust everywhere, maybe put on a mask, or just for your own protection. Bodily fluids, things can get nasty. I don't know, we wear masks, so I have masks in case I need to do it. I've got more gloves, two sets of extra gloves. I've got paracord for whatever I need. I've got a couple boo-boo things like Band-Aids. For this kit, I'm not really worried about a cut and a scrape. I just put them in there because I had them. I've got a multi-tool, a Gerber multi-tool. So you could always use a multi-tool for various things. That's kind of what I have in here. But this stuff I don't really need. So I have no problem dumping this pouch and using this packing cube as a detachable transporter for personal items. I've cut clothes off of people and they have personal items on them, or they lose fingers or toes or whatever. It can be such a comfort to somebody that's dying or bleeding out or gone through something traumatic, and to be able to, like, you cut their pants off, like put their wallet and keys in here, a wedding ring, put it in here, and again, this can just go with the patient. You can hand it to the EMTs. It may be covered in blood or whatever, and you could just be like, hey, here's his personal belongings, and it kind of keeps it all together. I've, for some reason, a lot of people that are dying or bleeding out or gone through something really traumatic, I don't know what it is, but they seem to hyper focus on little things that don't matter. In my personal experience, I don't know why that is. It's like their legs are off, and they're like, where's my wedding ring? Where's my wedding ring? It's like, right here. Here you go. You know, something like that. So just to be able to hand them something and be like, hey, here's your wallet, here's your ID. I don't know why they do that, but a lot of people do that. They hyper focus on even other injuries. I've run people with like missing limbs, and they're like, oh, my back kind of hurts. It's like, okay. So I don't know. So just that's why I have this. It's like kind of comfort, but it also can help first responders on scene to be able to keep their belongings. So moving right along, I've got a rescue tool. This has got, it's pretty bright, a seatbelt cutter, multiple lights, and in the spirit of talking about how your bag evolves and changes, I had a handheld light in here, and I was thinking with my firefighter brain, like as firefighters, we have a lot of resources, so we may pull up to a car wreck and we hit like big floodlights that flood the whole scene with light, and you may need a handheld to like see something. As just a normal responding concerned citizen, you don't have those resources. And you may need both hands, and you may need light. So this has a giant magnet. I can stick it on things. It stands up on its own. I can just turn it on and have it there. So I actually took my handheld out and went with something more like this. This also has a glass breaker and a seatbelt cutter on it. Another good option would be a headlamp. Just having a headlamp in here you could throw on, turn on. This also has red light, which is nice. A lot of the headlamps have red light. So definitely need light if you run a shooting or something like that. It could be at night, and not even at night. It could be in a building and it's dark in the building because the power's been cut or something. So rescue light, kind of a big deal. I think it's really important. These are our Ifax. We have a couple of these left on the site, actually. We're actually changing up our design a little bit. In collaboration with Frontline Med Kits. This is the original one. We only have 2 of these left on the website. But this is pretty cool. This is an all-in-one kit that I can have in here, and I can hand it to somebody, and they can fully go take care of somebody. I believe I've broken this down before in a previous video. If I find that video, I'll post a link in the description below. But it's got everything. It's got MPAs, airway stuff, quick clot. It's got 2 chest seals, combat gauze, wound packing gauze, a secondary SWAT T tourniquet, which is awesome. It's got its own thing of trauma shears. I could hand this to somebody and be fully, if they have the skills and the training, to go take care of somebody, which is great. I have a second one in here for me, or to hand off again to somebody. But it stays half zipped. So all I have to do is like rip this open. Oops, I'm dropping stuff. All I have to do is rip this open, and I have full access. I can see everything into this kit right here. So that's two of the same kit. I did a video with Harleywood 23 on YouTube, and we kind of broke down the My Medic kits. And he asked me, he said, if we were to go into your car. Like, he's got a big, huge backpack kit, and it's kind of like a backpack with everything in it. It's like it's just a bunch of stuff. And the reason I like this is because everything is extremely compartmentalized. You don't look at all this stuff and get overwhelmed immediately of like, okay, I need to like find all this little stuff. It's like big bulk items. It's something that me and Brian mentioned, and you're gonna keep hearing me say this. Just that big gross muscle movement of like, here, this, firefighter smash. It's like everything is there. It's pretty much dummy proof. In the fire service, we've got a term called firefighter proof. So if something's super easy to use to where you can't get it confused, it's like, hey, it's firefighter proof, because we're all pretty much idiots. So that's those kits. Each one of these kits could probably take care of 2 people and possibly a third, depending on the severity of the situation. but definitely take care of one person that's really bad off. If you need to use all the chest seals, 2 tourniquets, NPAs, like everything you need. So I really like this setup to be able to take care of like 4 or 5 people by just handing these to somebody else, and then I still have everything to work off of. This is kind of like my bulk trauma kit. This is like a lot of just gauze. This is just like my dump pouch of gauze. Again, this is the Audi Gear window packing cube, the medium size. They've got small, medium, and like really large ones, which is cool. So this was kind of the perfect size for in here. It's Velcro on the back, so it stays, you know, I'm not like spilling anything out by picking the bag up. And inside this, I've got my trauma pack with quick clot, which it can be invaluable to have, and it's a lot of it. It's so much gauze in here. It's really nice. So a lot of gauze. If you're dealing with blood and bleeding and arterial bleeds and everything, a lot of gauze. Just have as much as you can. Israeli bandage. This could be a whole video on Israeli bandages. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there on how to use these. We'll open one up and do it here. An IV, this is actually expired, so I'm not going to pump this into anybody's veins, but it can be used to like irrigate a wound or flush out like debris out of your eyes or something like that. Just a flush. I mean, it's probably, honestly, it's probably fine. As long as there's nothing floating in it and the water's not discolored, it should be good to go. But it is over a year, 2018 it expired, so. But it's nice to have a little flush. Even just like if you have an IV site or something like that, if I did get an IV and there was blood spilling everywhere, I could easily just like kind of spray some saline on there, get it clean a little bit, do my alcohol prep, and then get the IV. Wound packing gauze everywhere. Basically, this whole thing is filled with wound packing gauze. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wound packing gauze in here. I've got an NPA. Like I said, just bulk trauma, like all of the gauze. I've got a triangular bandage. These are great. You can use them as kind of pressure bandages. You can create slings out of them. There's a lot of stuff you can do with a triangular bandage. So that's what that is. I've got a lubricating jelly and an NPA for an airway. I've got a couple combined ABD pads. These are sterile pads. Great for all sorts of stuff, soaking up blood, whatever you need. Roll gauze, conforming stretch bandages. You can, like, I could put one of these combined pads on like a deep laceration or something, and then just kind of like roll bandages around it. And there's a decent amount of here. You're not going to use this whole roll on one thing. You could like cut it in half and be fine. Cpr mask, I just have it in here. I'm not doing CPR on anybody. Not only is it a waste of time in a triage situation, unfortunately, it's one of those things where you're either dead or you're not, or you're going to be dead. So I'm going to take some life-saving care. We could do a whole video on triage, but I'm not about to put a face shield on and do CPR on anybody. If it was like my loved one, maybe, but I just have it in here. And then a moist towelette. So whenever you're done cleaning up all the scene, there's bodies and blood everywhere and everybody's left and it's just police lines and they're doing investigations and hosing off all the blood, you can go to Burger King, get yourself a nice little burger after your hard day's work, and clean your hands off with a moist towelette. That's what that is. Celox granules, pour it inside wounds, stops bleeding. That's pretty much the whole kit. It's a lot. This is like a really fast overview of a very multi-dimensional scenario. I mean, there's so much that can go into every single one of these. And it's just simply too much to go through each thing in every video. But this is a big overview of the bag itself. And I really like the Haley Strategic Flat Pack for this. The fact that I can have all of this, throw it on over a plate carrier, and if I needed to, like in the Texas shooting, like grab a carbine and go, and this isn't gonna get in my way. And take care of what I need to take care of, and then just be able to go strictly trauma. That's going to be it. Or, you know, you're out LARPing with the boys, whatever. You've got guys with all their assault packs and chem lights and flares, and some people have snacks and water and whatever. I'm kind of like the medical guy. So this is for me to take care of myself and whoever else I need to. But that's pretty much it. Again, show is sponsored by Frontline Medical Defense. Make sure you use coupon code DIRE10 for 10% off on all of their stuff. They pack our med kits for us too. They're just awesome company. They're a growing company, but they're making a big splash. This isn't some guy that just goes and like buys discount stuff and sells it at a profit. This guy is highly trained, well trained, has a lot of experience, and is gonna kill it in the med kit game. And we're excited to be working with them. We've also got, what's that?
What about Facebook blocking medical?
Oh yeah. We got a Facebook notification. Facebook updated their terms of policy. They will not let you sell medical equipment. So all of our med kit posts got pulled down. They say you can't advertise medical equipment for sale anymore. We don't know why. Facebook and the government, and they hate. It's the same reason they're making body armor illegal. They do not want you to be able to help yourself or others for whatever reason. It looks scary, it looks tactical, and they hate it. So yeah, these med kits and everything, all the pictures we had actually got removed from Instagram. It says it goes against the e-commerce policy now. So you can't do the easy click buy from the shop anymore. You have to go to frontlinemedicaldefense.com or direarmory.com. Prefer you to go to frontlinemedicaldefense.com. We're trying to consolidate everything. There's no reason to have it on two different sites. But if you do order one from direarmory.com, I'm literally just forwarding it to him. So you will get your stuff regardless. And with the Ukraine situation and everything going on there's a shortage of cat tourniquets. There's a shortage of quick clot gauze. So make sure you get your stuff now. Things are, you know, I don't delve into politics too much on this channel, but it's kind of getting impossible to not, unfortunately. Things are getting hard to get. Things are getting kind of scary. So make sure you're prepared now. Everybody that was buying ammo when COVID first hit and everything wished they would have bought ammo before. It's like that right now. Like, now is the time. Go get your ammo. Go get your medical equipment. Get some decent training. If you're in the Kennesaw area, we're going to be opening up Stop the Bleed classes for medical. It's a certified course. All through Frontline Medical Defense, and I'll be assisting with the classes and work with you on tourniquet placement. We've got dummy training, arms, legs, blood. I mean, it's really cool class. So it's a hands-on class. It's not like you're sitting in a chair watching a PowerPoint presentation on how to put on a tourniquet. We're going to put a tourniquet in your hand, and we're going to show you how to do it. So make sure you stay updated with Medic Mondays for dates and details on that. We've got our first class July 25th. And that's studio personnel only. There's like 30 of us here in the studio.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's 30. About 30. So we got 30 of us about to go through this class, and then we're going to open it up and do other people. So yeah, that's basically it. That was a long outro. Long outro, but more Medic Mondays to come. I think next Medic Monday, Brian will be back. We're going to be going over burns. Burn treatment, burn care, risks, some pathophysiology with burns, and it's going to be really good. And we're working on our active shooter response thing that may be less of this and may be more of a series, kind of like we did with the body armor series. I think that's the direction I want to head with it. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for listening to me rant about nerdy medical stuff, and we'll see you guys on the next Medic Monday.